One morning, as Gregor Samsa woke up from anxious dreams, he found himself transformed into a monstrous insect. This is the famous opening line of the Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. At first glance, the story seems to be about a man who suddenly turns into an insect. But is that really what Kafka wanted to tell us? Beneath this strange and shocking transformation lies a deeper story about identity, self worth, alienation, family relationships, dehumanization, and the loss of empathy. Through Gregor Samsa's tragic journey, Kafka explores what happens when a person is no longer useful to society or even to his own family. Hello, guys, welcome back to my channel, Others in the Archives. In today's video, we will discuss the condition of Gregor Samsa, how his family's attitude towards him changes after his transformation, and what Kafka wanted us to understand about human relationships, compassion, and the value of an individual. When people talk about Kafka's The Metamorphosis, they usually focus on the shocking image of Gregor Samsa waking up as a giant insect. But I think the most disturbing part of the novel happens before we even process the transformation itself. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that your body has completely changed. Most people would panic. They would question reality. They would wonder whether they were dreaming or losing their minds. Gregor does briefly wonder whether it is a dream, and then he starts worrying about missing the train. That detail is easy to overlook, but it tells us almost everything about who Gregor is. Instead of asking what was happened to me, he asks, how am I going to get to work? As the novel progresses, we learn that Gregor does not even like his job. He complains about the constant traveling. He complains about the exhausting routine. He mentions that a life on the road never allows real friendships to develop. People become acquaintances but not companions. Yet every morning he gets up and does it again. Why? Because he is carrying the weight of his family's debts. One of the most revealing moments comes early in the novel when Gregor thinks that if he can just keep working for another 5 or 6 years, he will finally earn enough money to repay his parents' debt. Then and only then will cut ties with the company. Notice what this means. Gregor already has an escape plan. He knows he wants to leave. He knows the job is draining him. He knows it is preventing him from having a life of his own. But he never acts on that desire. Duty always wins. Even after the transformation, his first instinct is not self preservation, it is responsibility. He worries about the office manager. He worries about being late. He worries about disappointing his employer. He worries about what will happen to his family if he cannot work. It is as if he was spent so many years living for other people that he no longer knows how to think about himself. Kafka quietly gives us another clue when the chief clerk arrives at the Samsa household. During the conversation, Gregor's father mentions that his son never goes anywhere during holidays. He does not travel for pleasure, he does not take breaks. His entire life revolves around work. Before Gregor becomes an insect physically, he is already trapped. His days are controlled by train schedules, sales, targets, debts, and obligations. The transformation simply makes visible a condition that already existed. This is why I think Kafka's real question is not why did Gregor becomes an insect. The real question is what happens to a person who spends years doing work they never truly wanted to do. What happens when that work provides financial stability but offers no real sense of fulfillment, joy, or selfhood? At what point does a person become so defined by responsibility and usefulness that they lose touch with who they are beyond their role? Gregor's tragedy is not simply that he becomes an insect, it is that long before the transformation he had already sacrificed his own desires, identity, and sense of self in service of obligations that left little room for him to truly live. In the first part of this analysis, I argued that Gregor's real tragedy begins long before the transformation, long before he wakes up as an insect. He has already sacrificed his desires, freedom, and his identity to work and responsibility. But after the transformation, a new question emerges. What happens when a person's usefulness disappears? At first, Gregor remains the same person. Internally, his thoughts are still human, his concerns are still human, he still worries about the family, he still feels shame, guilt, and affection. Yet the people around him no longer see the person they once knew, they see the insect. One of the most painful aspects of the novel is that Gregor never stops caring about his family, even when they stop treating him like a member of the family. His sister brings him food, but even this act reveals a growing distance. The meals he once enjoyed no longer appeal to him. Instead, he is drawn towards rotten and decaying food. His body has changed, but his awareness of what is happening has not. He understands every loss. He understands every look of disgust. He understands every act of avoidance. And perhaps that is what makes this suffering so intense. There are moments when Gregor wants to look out of the window. The window is one of his last connection to the outside world. It reminds him that life continues beyond the walls of his room. Yet even here he restrains himself, not because he is afraid, but because he does not want to embarrass his parents. Think about that for a moment. Even after being isolated, neglected, and hidden away, Gregor is still thinking about the comfort of others before his own. His sister continues entering the room, but she gradually loses the ability to look at him directly. Gregor notices this to spare her discomfort. He begins hiding beneath the sofa wherever she visits. This is one of the saddest moments in the novel. The burden of adaptation falls entirely on Gregor. Nobody tries to become comfortable with him. Instead, he must make himself invisible. The same pattern appears in his relationship with his father. When Gregor leaves his room hoping to reconnect with his family, his father responds not with curiosity or concern but with violence. He drives him back into the room and attacks him, leaving him seriously injured. The message is clear. Gregor is no longer being treated as a son. He is being treated as a threat. And this is when Kafka exposes a deeply uncomfortable truth about human relationships. As long as Gregor could provide for the family, he was valued. He worked exhausting hours, he paid their debts, he gave up his own life so that they could live comfortably. But the moment he becomes dependent on them, the foundation of that relationship begins to crack. The person who once carried the family is now hidden away from it. The son who once supported everyone is now avoided by everyone. Nothing about Gregor's character has changed. His kindness remains. His concern for others remains. His capacity to love remains. Only his appearance has changed. And yet, that single change is enough to erase his place within the family. Kafka forces us to ask a disturbing question: how much of our humanity exists within us, and how much of it depends on the willingness of others to recognize it. Gregor still sees himself as a member of the family. The tragedy is that the family no longer sees Gregor. By this point in the novel, Gregor has already lost almost everything. He has lost his job, he has lost his place within the family, he has lost the ability to participate in the outside world. And now Kafka introduces another loss, the loss of identity itself. As Gregor becomes accustomed to his new body, he begins crawling across the walls and ceiling. His room no longer suits him. To create more space, Crate suggests removing the furniture. At first, this sounds like an act of kindness. She believes she is helping him adapt. But Kafka makes the situation far more complicated than that. While Crate sees furniture, Gregor sees memories. As the room is gradually emptied, the objects are stripped of their practical function and becomes symbol of his former life. His desk is not merely a desk, it represents the years he spent studying, learning, and imagining the future for himself. The furniture reminds him that he was once a human being with habits, routines, ambitions, and a personal history. Gregor's mother briefly recognizes this. She wonders whether removing the furniture might send the message that they have given up hope of his recovery. It is one of the few moments in the novel where someone understands what is truly at stake. Because the room is not just changing physically, it is being transformed into a place suitable for an insect rather than human being. Crate, however, supports removing the furniture. Unlike her mother, she has begun adopting the idea that Gregor will never return to his previous life. And it is here that Gregor's reaction becomes extremely revealing. Out of all the objects in the room, he desperately tries to protect a framed picture of a woman in furs. He crawls towards it and presses his body against the image of as if defending it from being taken away. Why this picture? Because it is one of the few possessions in the room that belongs entirely to Gregor. It was not connected to work, it was not connected to debt, it was not connected to family obligations. It represented something personal, something chosen, something desired. Throughout the novel, Gregor is defined by responsibility. He works for others, he sacrifices for others, he lives for others. But the woman in furs points toward a different Gregor. A Gregor who might have wanted love, a Gregor who might have wanted intimacy, a Gregor who might have wanted a life beyond train schedules, sales routes, and financial obligations. When Gregor protects the picture, he is not protecting paper and glass. He is protecting the last visible trace of the person he used to be. The tragedy of this scene is that Gregor understands something that the rest of the family does not. A human being can survive many losses, but there comes a point when losing your memories, your desire, and your connection to your former self begins to feel like losing your humanity altogether. For this reason, the removal of the furniture is one of the novel's most important moments. Kafka is not asking whether Gregor still looks human. He is asking whether a person remains the same when every reminder of who they once were is slowly taken away. So, after looking at Gregor Samsa's story from beginning to end, I don't think the metamorphosis is simply a story about a man turning into an insect. The transformation is important, but it is not the real tragedy. In the first part, we saw a man whose life had become completely defined by work, debt, and responsibility. Even after waking up in an impossible situation, Gregor's first thoughts were not about himself, they were about catching a train, keeping his job, and supporting his family. In the second part, we saw what happened when he could no longer fulfill that role. The same family for whom he had sacrificed his youth slowly began distancing themselves from him. His appearance changed, but his concern for others remained. Yet that concern was no longer returned. And in the third part, we saw Gregor fighting to preserve the last fragments of his identity. The furniture, the study desk, and especially the picture of the woman in furs were more than objects. They were reminders that before he became a provider, before he became an insect, he was a person with desires, dreams, and life of his own. This is why I think Kafka's real question is not what would happen if a man woke up as an insect. The real question is what happens when a person's worth becomes tied entirely to what they can do for others. How much of our identity survives when our usefulness disappears, and how much of love we receive is truly unconditional. But there is another side to this story. Throughout this analysis, we have mostly looked at events through Gregor's eyes. We have followed his fears, his sacrifices, his loneliness, and his gradual loss of self. Yet the metamorphosis is not only Gregor's story. It is also the story of a family forced to confront a situation they cannot understand. What was happening inside Great's mind as she cared Gregor's and then gradually turned away from him? Why did his father respond with such hostility? Was the family's behavior simply cruel, or was something more complicated taking place beneath the surface? In the next part of this analysis, we will leave Gregor's room behind and examine the novel from the perspective of the Samsa family. Because the most fascinating transformation in Kafka's novel may not be Gregor's at all. It may be the transformation of the people around him. If you enjoyed this analysis, consider leaving a like. It helps the channel reach from readers and literature enthusiasts. And if you would like to see more in-depth discussion on novels, philosophy, psychology, and classic literature, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. I would also love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Gregor's transformation begins with the insect body, or do you agree that the real metamorphosis started long before the first page of the novel? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next part.